everybody. I'm Kris Nauman, the Executive Director for the Clarity Clinic Pregnancy Center here in Dubuque, Iowa. And I am filling in today for Pastor Roland Waterman. And I have a very special guest here today with me. It is Tracey Steele. Welcome, Tracey. He's the leader from Youth for Christ here in Dubuque. And I'm so excited to have you here on the show today.
Thank you, Kris. Good to be here.
Tracey and I met earlier in 2020, right when COVID started, right?
Uh-huh.
And Tracey, you were working in the schools, right? And helping out. Tell our listeners a little bit about that today.
Well, I was actually on the show about a year ago with Roland, and we talked about the start of Youth for Christ Dubuque. So Youth for Christ, the organization, been around for 75 years. First employee was a young man by the name of Billy Graham. And for 75 years, we've been sharing the gospel to teenagers. So we came to Dubuque to get this program started here because there are teenagers in Dubuque that have never heard the good news of Jesus Christ. So our goal is to get into the schools, to be where students are and to meet them where they are and share the gospel with them on their own turf. So last year we had 4 clubs. We were in all 3 middle schools in Dubuque as well as in Piasta at Drexler. And so we had clubs there where we brought college-age volunteers together with the middle school kids, and lots of fun, high-energy clubs that also gave them tools for navigating through their lives and introducing them to the way Jesus can help them as they try to navigate through life. So that went really well till COVID hit, and then that kind of shut us down a bit, but we are back training and getting ready to get back into school as soon as the doors open. But we have a new program as well, and we'll talk more about that later.
So thank you for sharing that. You know, COVID has impacted so many of us that are involved with ministry. And I know from our own experience with our outreach, we go into 9 school districts and 22 schools. And this year, Tracey, we had to just try to figure it out and record our presentations that typically would go into the schools, just like you were with your clubs. And, you know, it's just been a tough year to transition and find new ways to be innovative and help people. And I can just say that one of the proudest moments that I had this year was when we got the final recording for our last outreach to the high schools, and then they opened school in the hybrid program. So here we are. But you know, it isn't so much just pouring into the kids. And I'm sure in your years of experience, you've noted that how impactful a parent is in the life of a child, right? The scripture verse in Deuteronomy talks about how to train your child up in the way that they shall go. And when they're old, they will not depart from it. I know myself, I homeschooled for 4.5 years. I have 4 kids, and I put my kids in the Christian school here locally. But it's not just enough putting your kids into a school district where you know they have great teachers. And what we are trying to do as a pregnancy center is equip our community to become better parents. And so Tracey's had years of experience with working with teenagers. And my goal as a pregnancy center director is to make sure that the girls we're seeing coming in a crisis pregnancy are not return crisis pregnancy clients. And so part of what Clarity Clinic offers is free services, pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, and free parent education classes where they can earn while they learn and get baby essential items. And so that has been wonderful. And we navigated through COVID and did curbside pickups and did live streaming with our education programs. But the hardest part, I think, through COVID with families has been parents in dealing with kids working from or doing school at home, parents working from home, juggling all the different schedules and kids not being able to go and do sports and things like that. And so we were blessed this year to receive a grant from Focus on the Family, and you're familiar with them. And the program is called Raising Highly Capable Kids. Raising Highly Capable Kids is all about parenting. It's a 13-week program. It is covering over 4 decades of research with over 5 million children and youth, and it has evidence-based to raise the grade point average of all the students or the kids of the parents that take that program. So Clarity Clinic Pregnancy Center, which I lead, has been chosen to pioneer this program in the state of Iowa. And I'm so excited to have Tracey helping me because he has decades of experience working with youth. And so he is also a teacher at our local Christian school. And so I've had him take the curriculum and dig into it. And so, Tracey, what I'd like you to do is just share with our audience a little bit of some of the highlights in the chapters of what they can expect.
Well, to let you know why with Youth for Christ we're connecting with Clarity Clinic, you might wonder, well, how did that happen?
Yeah.
But when I met with Kris a year ago, she shared the vision of the Clarity Clinic, and it was really exciting to hear that the Clarity Clinic is not only about abundant life, or not pro-life, but pro-abundant life. Not just pro-life, but pro-abundant life. Wanting to make sure that the people they reach, the young ladies they reach, or the young families they reach, are able to have the tools they need to be good parents and to take that child and raise it well. So with Youth for Christ, when we come to a community, one of the things we like to look at is what are the gaps? Is there any area we could, the ministry models that we have, that we could help in that community? So when I heard Kris's vision for helping young moms, I thought about our Parent Life program. Youth for Christ for 30 years has had a Parent Life program where we come alongside teenage parents and try to help them have the skills it takes to be good parents. So then, as Kris introduced me to the Raising Highly Capable Kids program, I thought, wow, what a beautiful match for us to take our Parent Life program and match it together with Clarity Clinic's vision to see abundant life for these new young mothers. So the plan is to take these teaching sessions and take teenage parents who are at risk and make sure that their children are not at risk as well. This is an evidence-based program, which is what makes it great. Focus on the Family has been collecting evidence in this area for years and years. And so the program is based on that evidence. But the evidence also shows that parents who are at risk are very likely to have at-risk children. So our goal is to make sure that that cycle is broken, to try to break that cycle. And education is always the best way to break that kind of a cycle. So the highly capable kids, or resilient, helps raise resilient kids that are strong, kids that can handle the things they're going through. So the program teaches those parents to raise kids that are going to be able to handle the challenges they're going to face, maybe growing up in a single-parent home, maybe having a young parent, or starting life with some challenges in their family unit. So the programs, there's 13 sessions that happen, and it starts in a bigger group, and then you break into a small group. What I love about it is it's very similar to what we do in Youth for Christ, to our Youth for Christ clubs. So you have an icebreaker in the beginning where the group gets to know each other, and you start to build that connection. And this may be teen parents, but it can be parents of all ages. And so when they get together with each other, there's going to be a crowd breaker. They'll get to know each other better. And then there's something called adding to your assets, which I really love. People will come in there with different assets to be a good parent. Everyone has some assets that it takes to be a good parent. But we can all use more help. We can all add to our toolbox. Even a parent of 5 children, I can add to my toolbox ways to be a better parent. And so that's what this program does. So that's the second part, adding to your assets. Then it moves on to a small group function. It's called reaction time, where you get to take what you just heard and react to it and discuss it with other like-minded young parents. And so that gives them a chance to say, oh, yeah, I relate to that. That's exactly where we are. Or to learn from someone who's in a different part of that process and to learn the things that they've, from them, the things that they've learned. Then it moves on into the Worth a Try, where they get a chance to actually practically apply in partners some of the things they're learning. So it's not just a hear this, but it's a try this. And then it finishes with the next steps. What are the next steps to take what I've learned today and put it into action as I parent at home? So the main key of the program is to help you become the best parent you can become. And it's done through these small meetings that happen weekly for 13 sessions.
Wow, that's impressive. I told you he was the one that read the curriculum. I just had the idea to follow up with it, and I think it's going to be rock star that the two of us are working together and partnering with youth and with their parents. And one thing that I'd like to mention is the pregnancy centers. You mentioned pro-abundant life. Pregnancy centers for so many years, the negativity that has come at us is all you want to do is save the baby, but you really don't care about the family. well, this program is going to be established in our center. And we are in a building that took out Planned Parenthood in Dubuque. And we are putting a huge expansion onto our center. It's going to be about 12,000 square feet when you add the basement and the main level. It'll have huge group classrooms and one-on-one classrooms. It'll have a kid zone. But you can't have a building like that on 2 acres in the middle of the city and not have awesome programs. So when this door was opened up to us, we wanted to collaborate with others in the community. And we want them to know about our Tree of Life Education Center, which will be that expansion. And so our purpose in this community outreach in partnership is to not only reach out to parents that are in the school districts, but parents that are in the churches. And I know you mentioned Parent Life. Can you share with our audience a little bit about Parent Life with Youth for Christ and how you have collaborated maybe with youth pastors and churches to support them?
Well, we are just starting Parent Life here, so we're just getting going. But the way Youth for Christ has had uses the Parent Life program is basically we become a conduit between schools that have parents, teenagers that have become parents. And they're often looking for help for those young parents. And so we connect them to our staff and volunteers who then help come alongside them and help them become good parents. They're parents and they're teenagers. They have school, they have other things they're trying to balance. And so we come together to try to help them be the best parents they can be. And that involves multiple things. That involves just being with them, building relationships between our volunteers and these young parents. And it involves, by the way, not just, it used to be a parent moms program. Now we're Parent Life for both parents. It was Teen Moms and now Parent Life. We want to help the father as much as possible. So if we can get the fathers together and train them how to be good fathers, that's our goal. Now, one of the interesting things that happens in many Parent Life programs is they connect with our juvenile justice ministry, because Youth for Christ has a very large growing program called Juvenile Justice, where we go into the juvenile justice centers to help these young guys that have gotten incarcerated and who want to get out and have a different life, and we help them do that. But one of the things that Youth for Christ has noticed is that many of these young men have a child outside the prison, and it breaks their heart, and they have a desire to be there for their kids, and they have a desire that when they get out, they can be a good father. So we can even train these fathers while they're in a center, in a facility, and help them prepare to get out and be a good parent. And then we can be training the mother of their child at the same time. Because our goal is that father and mother come together. That's always best for the child. And then that they have the tools and the things they need in order to take care of those kids. So that's how our Parent Life program works. We take volunteers from the community. By the way, we need volunteers. If you have a heart for teenage moms and dads that need help, and you'd like to help with that, we would love to have your help. We'll need volunteers for that. But we connect the volunteers to those students, and we generally find the students from the schools that are asking for more help for these teenagers that have become pregnant.
That's wonderful. As a pregnancy center leader, I know full well you're on a limited budget because you have to raise every dollar that you make and support to keep your doors open. So having volunteer teams engaging with you and partnering with you is a huge advantage. And so you may ask, Kris, who are you inviting to share with you in this grant? I am reaching out to our community and to surrounding communities. Our pregnancy center serves an hour radius of Dubuque. And so we are reaching out through this show today to say, if you are a pregnancy center, you're involved in a pregnancy center education or leadership, if you're a church leader, if you're a youth pastor, if you're a teacher, if you're a willing heart that just wants to pour into other parents, and we want to engage with you. We want to welcome you and invite you to an upcoming event that we are going to offer. And so since we're here in the middle of a pandemic, we had to find a location where we can social distance safely and have enough room and space if we had a couple hundred people. And I'm hoping that we fill the place. So we were blessed with a sponsorship from Crossroads in Piasta, Iowa. And they meet regularly at the Piasta Community Center, and the ballroom holds 1,000 people. And so we should be able to serve a couple hundred people safely and have people come in, and the first night will be, or the first day I should say, will be Tuesday, March 30th. And we'll have 2 sessions, and you can choose which one works best for you. And so that first session will be from 9 a.m. to 10:30. And the second session, if you can't come during the day, will be 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 30th. And so that is going to take an hour and a half. And Mike Haley, the author of Resilient Kids Curriculum in the program Raising Highly Capable Kids, that is coming from Focus on the Family, part of the grant, will be the presenter for that morning and that evening. And we did a special opportunity to have him come twice that day so that we can facilitate enough times for other people that are traveling. And so we hope that you will join us. And then the vision casting, to sign up for that, you need to go to our website, partnersofclarityclinic.com. And on the homepage, you will find a link to register. And we will contact you to follow up to make sure that you're coming. And our final day to sign up will be the 29th at noon. But we are ordering books, so a month away from that date will be April 27th, and that will be the Train the Trainer. So the grant is in 2 phases. There's a vision casting, so that we want anybody that's coming to the training to come to the vision casting on March 30th. Why? Because that is specifically for anyone who has questions. He will answer every question. We want to, the day of the training, the 4-hour day, of the 4 hours of training, we want it to be completely and 100% training time. And so all the questions that need to be answered can be answered at that first evening on March 30th. And then what we will do is on April 27th, Tuesday, April 27th, you'll have to RSVP at the March 30th event. And you can come to that training for 4 hours. We'll have a break in the middle of it, and we'll be providing lunch afterwards. But we need you to RSVP so we can plan for it. And our goal in this, you might say, well, what if we do send our schools and we really, Kris, with COVID, our schedule with the teachers is so tight that I'm not quite sure that we're going to have the time to commit to doing this ourselves. Well, I would say, wouldn't you, Tracey, that it's valuable for them as a superintendent or a curriculum director or a counselor or a teacher to find out about the program, to learn what it has to offer, so that you can be that person in your district or in your church to connect families that need it with us as a pregnancy center, or if it's in Cedar Rapids with your pregnancy center, or Quad Cities, or with your local chapter of Youth for Christ that connects with a pregnancy center. And so our goal in bringing this program to Dubuque is to share it with the community, share it with the pastors, and share it with local organizations that serve families. And when our Tree of Life Education Center is ready, I will be working with Tracey. Tracey's going to come in, and his team will offer that class at our new Tree of Life Education Center. So when we get to that place, we are hoping that if there are places and people that have already gone through the vision casting and the Train the Trainer, and they are not yet able to establish social distancing or do this, facilitate it themselves, we will come alongside of you and we will provide it. And so, Tracey, you're used to doing that with your years of experience. I know that you have always said, my goal is to train them so I don't do it anymore. So explain that to the audience, because we like that fruitful reproduction of things and making multiplication in good work.
Yeah, and that's what I want to clarify, emphasize what Kris is saying, because it was confusing to me as I heard it at first. The vision casting is designed for anybody who would like to see better parenting in their own family, in their church family, and in the community. Anybody who has a desire to see better parenting would be invited to the vision casting, because they will learn there how the Raising Highly Capable Kids program can lead to better parenting. So if you're asking who comes to that, it's anybody that would like to see their church provide a program that teaches their parents to be better parents, that wants to see their school. So if you're a school counselor or a school teacher and you would like to see your school have better skills and tools that they can teach to students so that they grow up to be better parents. Anybody who has a desire to see better parenting would come to the vision casting. As you come to the vision casting then, which is in the morning and in the evening, whichever one works, then you get a chance to see what this training program is about. And if there you say, wow, I want to become a trainer. This is a great program. This is really good. And I could do this. I could be one of the trainers and maybe do a small group in my church, or maybe help at the Clarity Clinic as a volunteer, or help with Youth for Christ as a volunteer, or get this started in my community, my small community. Anybody who would be interested in being a trainer can come then to the Train the Trainers. And there you're trained to lead the Raising Highly Capable Kids program. So you will be trained how to lead it at the Train the Trainers event. When you leave that event, you are ready then to start your own Raising Highly Capable Kids program. And it could be in your church, it could be in your community, it could be in your school. And so that's how this works. So then for us, we'll also be doing it at the Clarity Clinic. So the Clarity Clinic, starting in September, will have classes for raising highly capable kids. If you want to be, if you're a parent that wants to come join those classes, that door will be open for that. If you have someone you know, maybe a young couple that is just having their first child, or a teen parent that you know of, that you know could use better tools to be a better parent, you can send them to our programs. But you can also then decide after coming that, wow, I want this to grow. I want this to be more. I want to see this throughout our church. Then you can become a trainer. And we will continue to train the trainers so that this great program can be used by as many possible people, so that we bring a generation, a new generation of parents who are prepared to be the best parents they can be.
I absolutely love that. You might ask, how are other pregnancy centers in other states utilizing this program? Well, Texas, Oklahoma, all kinds of states across the country are already using this evidence-based program and having wonderful success rates. In fact, they're using this program in child protection agencies for a parent education program to help with the rehabilitation of those parents that maybe are having their children taken away. And we want to implement this program to support even with jail ministry with local churches and connect with local churches, to connect with men's ministry and women's ministry that are going into the jails, because we all know with COVID that's a limited amount of time that we can be in there. But you know, we found with COVID, with our Bright Course program that we provide live streaming and curbside pickup for baby items, we have not only parents that are just having newborn babies or toddlers, but they may have 3 or 4 other kids. One of them's in school or starting school. They need that support and to be equipped. And I'm sure if you're a pastor watching this, or if you're working with a family organization, you know this story all too well, that if they don't have the support, those children are at risk, and they fall into situations that are going to put them in risky behavior and crisis. And so our goal with this is to collaborate with other pregnancy centers in Eastern Iowa or across the state. We welcome you. We just want you to understand that this will strengthen your outreach in the community. It will strengthen your outreach in churches. I think, and Tracey and I talk about this so often, and we haven't known each other very long, but sometimes I think a local pregnancy center or a local chapter of Youth for Christ is the best kept secret. Mm-hmm. Like when you're a parent and you have a teenager that's had something awful happen, and you're looking for that resource, and you might not see it exactly in your church, and you feel like you're the only one that's gone through this, having a partnership in a pregnancy center with people that have had over 30 years of experience globally working with youth has been amazing. I would love for you to share a little bit about some of your global experience, where you've been and how you've helped families all over the world, because we have a gift here in Dubuque. And I'm so blessed to have the ability to partner with Tracey and his wife Karna and the team that he's putting together. So I'd like you to share that a little bit.
Well, we started Youth for Christ. I started with Youth for Christ in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which was Eastern Iowa Youth for Christ. And there I began my young family shortly after coming on staff. Had my first son, Spencer. My wife Karna and I had our first son, Spencer. And Karna's father was Pastor Larry Johnson. In case any of you in the Iowa audience, you might recognize his name. Larry Johnson was very, very active in the pro-life movement. And Karna, my wife, worked with him. And I don't know if any of you remember the life chain, but there was a time in Cedar Rapids when my wife Karna organized a life chain that went from the east side to the west side of Cedar Rapids, all along First Avenue, was filled with thousands of people carrying signs that says abortion kills children. And so I've been, from the very beginning, we've been involved in the pro-life movement, excited about it. But then what we've had with Youth for Christ, our experience took us overseas. So we went to work with military teenagers who were kids that had a very difficult life of traveling around with their parents from base to base. So we worked there with those teenagers. Then we moved to the Czech Republic and helped start Youth for Christ in the Czech Republic, and you just got to be a part of helping carry that forward, and that's been a huge blessing. The interesting thing, Kris, though, is that everywhere I've gone, the need for better parenting is always there. The desire of parents to be better parents and the need for families to do a better job of parenting, myself included, is evident. So that's why I'm excited about this program. Going to be a great, and I want to make sure you understand, the Clarity Clinic here in Dubuque has a Tree of Life Education Center because of the 13 years of excellence that this young lady has brought in developing this program and developing the Clarity Clinic to the point where this center was needed to continue that passion for education in the community. And then, as a result of the great job this clinic has done, Focus on the Family came and said, you're one of the ones we want to choose to run this Raising Highly Capable Kids program. We see the excellence you have brought in your Clarity Clinic. We want to see that expand to your community and to the Dubuque area at large so that you can take what you've already done and expand it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so blessed that you were our audience and got to hear about this wonderful gift, Raising Highly Capable Kids through Focus on the Family. If you would like more information, you can go to our website, partnersofclarityclinic.com, and please click the link to RSVP in order to attend March 30th for our vision casting 9 to 10:30 a.m., 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We hope to see you there. It will be at the Piasta Community Center in Piasta, Iowa. God bless you, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.